Hey folks, welcome back. So we are on turn 96. I'm about to click the end turn here in the medieval era as the English. And we've taken over a fair bit of this continent here. We're currently at war with the blue player down here, who are the Greeks. And they've kind of advanced in tech into the medieval, so they've been pushing into me with some medieval tech units that I haven't researched yet. I'm a little bit behind on my science output. So plan is with the English is to use these longbowmen and their indirect fire to really push into Babylon here. It's going to take 6 turns to research, and my tech output is pretty low. I think I have like any science quarters really, so that is something I need to work on. And I think like in Harappa here, we have the Lighthouse of Alexandria that we're building to get some stability. And I think we're going to add the research quarter in after that, because we do need to start really getting our science output up. And over here, Lighthouse, I don't think that satraps is a huge priority. Now, these strongholds are going to help us a bit on the stability. What I don't know is, since I've last played, if strongholds and other emblematic districts actually count as a garrison or not. If I can build a city watch after I finish the stronghold, that should mean that they are garrisons. So I'm going to put that to the test here. I'm sure someone knows the answer, but I do not, and I do not want to look it up. All right, so let's click end turn here. And I did catch COVID over the weekend again. Thankfully, I mean, the symptoms are pretty mild this time around. Last time I was like really knocked out. But at least for this time, you know, I've got a little bit of a sore throat, got a headache, you know, I've got a fair bit of fatigue as well, but overall it's not too bad. All right, so there is some value to being able to, and I apologize, I'm going to be blowing my nose sometimes. There is some value to inherited land, right, with attaching with money instead of influence. I don't think that's a big issue for us, and this plus 10 food per number of attached territories synergizes really well with the English as well. And I do like communal land overall because I like larger cities in general. So I'm going to go ahead and take communal land for that extra output. And I think that side improves industry, right? It's been a while since yeah. So an extra plus 5% industry. I do lose a bit of stability from doing that, but that's okay. Now, something I should think about doing as well, greener pastures. So I think, yeah, so I'll lose one of my own population from Hendradaro, but I'll steal 3 pops from the other player. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Right, so down in Byblos, we're going to focus on that making us some money, because there are a lot of luxuries down there. Leaving you in Kerma in case they sneak any units up. Is there any way I can increase my science output? I don't think there is. Yeah, I think I just have to wait for these turns. Okay, so we can get a tenant. My usual is Eschew Gluttony. I think it is the strongest tenant in the tier, and it's not particularly close. The extra movement speed on units, both land and naval units, is very good. And the unit industry cost reduction is useful. I rarely have alliances, and plus 20 science is really not very much. Proselytize daily, great if you're building commons quarters. Obviously, I'm not really doing that. You know, if you were playing like the Italians or something, this would be great, but you have no idea if you're going to be playing the Italians when you pick this tenant. Plus 2 money per number of trade routes. I mean, I do trade, but I never play like a trade-based game. Or I very rarely play a trade-based game, so I'm not going to pick that one very much. Purge Idleness is like okay if Eschew Gluttony is gone, but I'm just going to take Eschew Gluttony. It makes more sense here than anything else, I think. Okay. Do I have... Okay. Let's get some of the science infrastructure in some of these cities if I don't have it. Though it's going to take extra turns on some of these. Man, I am really hurting for science. So let's get that in there. Don't think I need these guys on farmers. I don't need animal barns anytime soon. I don't need that harbor anytime soon. The harbor is just going to give me food, so it's not really important. Okay. And another reason, so I was doing the lighthouse for the stability up in Harappa, right, because I was losing some stability there. I do have some other options to get my stability back up, but I also wanted to claim another wonder. Okay, so Angkor Wat's been taken, which is fine. Great Mosque. I haven't played with the Great Mosque yet. It's new since I last played. I know, right, you get that extra fame modifier, and you get a project that increases your fame gains by like plus 2% per time you complete it. Honestly, it seems like a pretty good wonder to me, since it also gives the extra faith. Now, Great Zimbabwe is the other one I haven't really played with. Plus 2% money per number of unique types of resource, which I think could also be good. But I think what I want to do here, actually, I want to take Notre Dame, because I need to push back against the religious influence over here, and I'd really like to beat them to the final tier of Tenet and have the strongest religion overall. I do like having some faith output, and honestly, the plus 40 stability is going to be real nice. And it would be great if the Franks don't get it. Now, I think Great Zimbabwe would be good too. Forbidden City, I do like. I don't think I really need it, though. I'm usually not struggling too much for war support. Todaiji is bad, I think. I'm rethinking if I want Great Zimbabwe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So that would be plus 22% gold across the entire empire. I'm still going to go for Notre Dame, I think, just because I think they're going to push their religion farther than I would like them to. So I'm going to secure Notre Dame. I'll build it later. It's not a priority at the very moment. Okay. Oh, interesting. Okay. Oh, they have a lot of units that just got up there somehow. Okay. So, Immortals. We're going to let citizens take the brunt of the initial attack here. Keep the archers back here where they're safe. And hopefully I'll be able to move some of these guys in as reinforcements on my turn. Though this is going to be tough. Okay, citizens doing okay right there. I need to focus fire the crossbows. That's really their only advantage in this fight. Okay, it looks like they're going to send some units around back, which is fine. Okay, so let's hit the crossbows. I am worried that my units are too vulnerable out here, because this is very open terrain. But I think I have to bring them in. This is where that extra movement comes in handy, right? Because it allows me to get my units into the battle and then be able to position them once they deploy. Okay, so I'm actually going to bring the archers in first and kind of have them fill out the back line here. It's fine. That's fine. So anywhere where I can put a unit between the archer and enemy units, that's where I'm going to put my archers. All right. Now I can start bringing the Immortals in. Let's start hitting these crossbows. These are the biggest threat to me at the moment, in part because they have high ground, so they're going to get pretty substantial combat bonuses if they attack me. And there we go. Can take them out right there. Can get an Immortal up there. and this will open up that spot right there, where my archers will be pretty safe. I do more damage here on average. Well, no, they're both min-max, but I think I do more damage here on average because it's only 10. I can't remember the exact calculation, but I think I want to focus fire, even though they are in a river. Let's bring these guys up. Making sure there's no way they can kind of bring units down and around me. Okay, I can bring the swords up here. I'm just going to bring all of these units in. There's no reason not to. And I'm going to leave these guys kind of right here. So they're close enough to reinforce if I need them to. But I do need units on Byblos in case they decide to come siege with this army here, because I don't have enough citizens to hold that. Okay. And then I don't think I want to make any of these attacks. These immortals should be fine for one more round, I think. Or 2 more rounds. Honestly, I'm not sure how they took so much damage to begin with. Alright. So, I don't really care about killing these pikemen right now, right? Because, here's the thing. I could focus these pikemen and potentially kill them. The problem is, they just bring a new set of pikemen in, and they just keep damaging me anyway, so I still want to focus the crossbows. I'm not like in a desperate struggle to eliminate units right now. And if they bring a new unit in that's at full health, they have higher combat strength, right, than a unit that is not at full health. So, although I could have potentially killed this pike, I'm going to keep focusing on the crossbow. Let's take these pikes out. There we go. Now, I don't think I want to move units there. That's going to be too vulnerable. So let's take up positions on the high ground up here. We're going to just let my archers do their work. Where did these crossbows come from? Were they up there the entire time? Wow, that is very annoying. Like, I didn't see them move any units up there. Other than, like, a pike. I mean, I might have just not been paying attention, but... Okay, that was a very strange move. They just opened up their crossbows for counterattack. I did lose an archer there, which sucks, because I want to use them to upgrade into, what's it called? Into longbows. Let's see. I'm going to take these attacks. I do need to start killing some of their units. I do get a high ground attack there, so I will take that. And I need to start wearing down these crossbows here. And I'm just going to leave the immortals there. And oh, I should have attacked the crossbows with those. I was just harping on about that on the last turn, but I'll be fine. Okay, I'm gonna actually move these immortals out. I think they've taken enough damage. Move the swordsman up. It's just a risk that between this pikeman and if they move this one to attack, that I lose those immortals, and I'd rather not do that. We'll put some new citizens down there. All right. Go ahead and end the turn. So, for those of you who may have been wondering, you know, like, why did he leave the archers here? Because they're in range with the crossbows that could one-shot archers from high ground, right? So they're in woods, so that means that they don't have line of sight on these archers unless they have a unit adjacent. So even though I can shoot them, they can't shoot me back. So I'm going to take as much advantage of that as I can. It's a good spot for archers right there. Okay, crossbows are dead. And move archers down over here into these woods. And hopefully I can get those crossbows this turn. There we go. I'm gonna go ahead and move my swords up there. This gives me some high ground. I should have moved these immortals and put the archers there, but too late. I'm just gonna move these guys back because I don't need them in that position. They're not really doing anything for me as melee blocker units. I'm gonna take my time on this combat. My objective is really to just take the fewest number of casualties as I can. And of course they have reinforcements. How did I just take minus 100 and those archers are still alive? Someone want to explain that one to me? Okay, well, I'm going to buy that charcoal kiln. I am going to need more archers to upgrade. Ooh, I get longbows in one turn. So I'm going to go ahead and buy these out. Because the longbow production cost is a lot higher than the archers, and I'd rather spend gold than a ton of time producing. So I'm just going to go and use the gold to get some more archers. Alright, so they brought those reinforcements in, so that means it's my turn to come in behind them. This is very strange. I don't know what happened with this archer, but I am very thankful it's still alive. Bring the immortals down there. We'll have the swords hold right there. And need to kill these crossbows if we can. I'm going to use swords. I feel like my immortals might get attacked there and killed, so I don't want that. I'd rather lose the swords than than the immortals if I had to choose one. Let's go for that attack. So then I think I can get him. There we go. Okay, I think these units seem like they're doing fine up here. And now that the priority units are down, I can kind of just prioritize, low health units or units on terrain that give them combat strength penalties. Shit happens. Not the most effective combat that I've had, but still reasonably good considering I have a tech disadvantage here. Alright, let's move those guys out. I'm going to start attacking that pikeman there. Need to get him off the high ground, and then I can stop worrying about this spot right here. Oops. Yeah, that'll work. Don't really want to put these guys on the river. Too much of a combat strength debuff there. Okay, there we go. And just to make extra sure, let's put a new set of units there. We'll move our immortals up to give some combat strength bonus to the citizens here. They're not at risk anymore since the enemy doesn't have any ranged units, so I don't need to worry about losing them in that position. Okay, we'll need more food in this city. not quite enough to get a bunch of longbows, but close enough. Have to save some more money. I was half expecting them to march in another army there. Okay, so I'm going to just have these guys come down to beat blows. I don't need them in this combat. That one is pretty much wrapped up. It's just, it might take a little bit of time, but it's okay. I'm going to just hard build, I think 2 pikes is fine for the time being. Immortals are reasonably competitive, even in the next era, in the medieval. Like, they're not as good as pikemen on average. But, you know, if you can position your units correctly on high ground and that kind of stuff, you'll still be able to win fights with immortals. So I'm not too concerned with upgrading them. At least not quite yet. I have other priorities. All right. Let's just see what they do here. Okay, they're just going to shuffle units around. Might as well make that attack. See if we can get them to come attack us on the river here. There you go. So overall, not bad. You know, I did lose a few units. Those 2 archers were unfortunate losses, and I think an immortal when they came in with that extra army behind me. But it's really not the end of the world. All right, conquered empires. Did they change the text for this? I wish I mean, I can't remember what imperialist empire means. I think this is just plus 10 war support when winning a battle, right? So I think that's the superior choice here. I'm going to go for that. I'll have to find a way to move my liberty back in the proper direction. I don't think I have any options at the moment, but there will be some later. In the meantime, okay, so we have war summons. So we're going to want feudalism, both for peasants and the extra food output, and then we want to go along the top for science. Harappa is a couple turns away from a research quarter. Finally start getting a little bit of science output. And you're going to go ahead and upgrade that. Okay, we'll put the immortals in there. Okay, put the swords there. Put the longbows there. And going to need a little bit of time to recuperate. But I effectively have a full army of longbows now. They're not all in that one army. There's one in another. But I'm going to take this opportunity to start pushing. And next turn I will be able to upgrade another unit as well. Okay, so I'm definitely going to take this +1 combat strength. That's going to be useful. Let's see what everyone is producing. Okay, you can finish that obelisk. That seems fine to me. Don't know what a scout rider is doing over here. Do we need a satrap's palace right now? Not really. Let's get the forge. My industry is not very good in this city, so I think that +12 industry seems fine. Then we'll work on the strongholds. Oh, my mouse is still being funky. Okay. upgrade that. I'm gonna heal a few kind of lower health units. All right. Send these guys in first. Just to scout a bit and see what we're up against. Get up onto the high ground. Okay, those are walls right there, so that's a direction we're heading in, but that is a different province. So there are 2 cities over here. Okay, here come my archers. We'll get them behind everyone. Okay. So, by the looks of... Oh, are they bringing an army up here? They are. Just gonna go ahead and fight them. What? Why? How is there an army right here? That doesn't make any sense. Anyway, it's fine. We'll plop a guy down on there, and they won't be able to do anything. Okay, so Immortals in the front, that's fine. And actually, they can't attack up onto this terrain, right? So I can just put my longbows up here on high ground, and they will just absolutely shred everything. Just want to make sure I have no archers sitting on the front line. Okay, that seems fine. Okay, so obviously we need to sit right here. So I'm going to... What is in this army? I'm going to focus on the Immortals, I think. Move units into position there to block off reinforcements. Because I have combat strength bonuses against these cavalry with a lot of my Immortals. What are the units that'll be coming in? See, the question is do I think I can take this in a field battle? Because I think I can. So what I'm going to do is move these units up here and actually let them bring in reinforcements and kind of set up my archer firing line to support this side. Okay, these are my longbows. I'm gonna hit those crossbows, or yeah, those crossbows right there. I think I'd prefer to have all my longbows on this side for now. Are there any archers that haven't moved? These ones. I'll bring them there for the time being. And if I need units to serve as tile blockers, I can pull some more Immortals in. But I think the setup is okay for the time being. Okay, they're gonna go hide in the walls. Which, I mean, makes sense. Wait, what? They can go, oh, because they're districts. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Forgot about that. So if there are two districts, one on the bottom of the cliff and one on the top, you can move between those 2 tiles. Just a moment of forgetfulness on my part. Thankfully, longbowmen are pretty high combat strength. As usual, going to focus those crossbows out. And over here, I think I want to start bringing those Immortals in, just as a precaution. We're going to go ahead and do that. These guys can start hitting those crossbows. I think it's more important to attack the crossbows. Ugh, I couldn't kill him. That sucks. And the rest of these guys are just going to hold, right? Because these crossbows need direct line of fire. And, you know, I'm in my position here is fine. They do have high ground right here. But I'm not too concerned. If I lose an immortal, it's really not that big of a deal. I don't think I'm going to. It is a possibility, but an unlikely possibility. I might, though. Looks like they'll use the horseman. No? Or not. Which, I mean, I wouldn't have taken that attack either, like using horsemen. So, I think that was a perfectly reasonable decision on the part of the AI. Alright. Which is not something I say very often. Let's move a new set of units down there. My archer's down. This is just a regular archer as well. Okay, he can shoot stuff from there, so let's move him over there. Okay, we need to take out these horsemen. See, situations like this are why longbows are so good, right? Because the other guys need direct fire in order to do anything. And I can just shoot them indirectly. And it's a very difficult disadvantage to overcome if the enemy has massive fire superiority and just a bunch of annoying blocker units. I might have to fall back to heal. But I am depleting their ability to continue to produce armies here. Okay. Alright, so we'll finish that up next turn. Yeah, I'll withdraw demand, sure. I can't afford another war right now, even if they are on a different continent. Okay, so the Greeks are about to surrender, apparently, which means I'm not going to take any cities. In the Bolivar update, you can choose to continue the war, I believe. Even after the enemy has reached minimum war supports. However, in the iteration of the game I am playing, you can't do that. Okay, so those guys are the last ones left. Let's distribute my damage a little bit. Alright, yeah, so there's no possibility that I take any of these cities. So I'm just going to have to take territories. What I'm interested in are territories with good luxuries, like this territory right here that is unnamed for some reason. And I want territories that are close to my border as well and defensible rather than far away. Can't quite get that one. I think I'm happy with those two. Should be fine. So I got another gemstone and marble. And then I did steal some of the city as well. Could I attach this to Byblos? So I could attach that here, and that would give me some more market quarters in here, but that would really tank my stability, so I can't afford to do that at the moment. Now, I could evolve this into a city. And that is something I'm seriously considering. Because I am still below my city cap. I think this would be fine as a city too. Might even be better. Because up here with the mountains, the development opportunities are kind of limited. I'm going to wait a turn for feudalism, because then I get colony model, so I'll get all the infrastructure upgrades for free, right? And then I'm going to go ahead and evolve this into a city, because it'll be a little bit before I'm able to go to war again with the Greeks here. So I need to start getting more outputs online, and that starts with having more cities. Up there is a fine spot, I think. Oh. Yeah, because I lose production right there. I don't right here. There are defensive benefits to the stronghold, particularly in a spot like right there. But I value things other than the defensive benefits. I'm mostly placing it for the food and stability. Okay, let's get some more of these archers upgraded so we don't forget about them. Really want to prioritize them over upgrading the immortals, because the immortals are still mostly serviceable for the time being. Okay, so I can advance an era if I want. I'm at the top of fame at the moment. I have quite a few stars left to get. Done very well on expansionist and militarist. I have a ways to go on agrarian. It might be a little difficult to meet this era, honestly. Let's bring these extra pikes down. So I don't think taking those two territories were enough to, say, cripple the opponent. But it should do some damage. We'll want the +1 trader per market quarter. I don't really use farmers. Let's see. There was something I was going to say and I forgot it. It's probably the COVID or something. And I'll just blame it on COVID if I forget what I was going to say. So up here, 14 science is fine, but that's not where I want science, right? Most science comes from adjacency, and so you really want to build up a bunch of science quarters all in the same place, and I'm going to use this area for that, and later this area as well. I don't have a water mill in Harappa yet. Let's get that before we get the strongholds. I need more production in there. Really need more industry everywhere. I'm a little bit low on industry overall. I don't have a lumber yard in here yet. Which one do they want? Communal rights. Yeah, that's fine. So I don't really care either way on that. Like, I think the effects of those are useless, more or less. It's just, it moves me along towards the economic, or the collectivism axis, which gives you a bonus to your industry, which is, reasonably useful right now. I'm going to use these guys to just defend Kerma. Now, one thing I'll want to consider as well is seafaring mastery for the cog, because New World is on in this game mode. Okay, nice. Going to get some science osmosis here. Actually, very useful to have someone else's culture sometimes, because you can get a lot of science from that stuff. No, I did not finish upgrading all my archers. I don't really care about them. They're peaceful. I'm just going to let them wander around. So what I really want to do is build out over this way. But a river's kind of in my way. I'd prefer not to lose the yields. But I might have to make a decision about which yields I'm okay with losing. I think I'm okay with losing 8 food to get 10 industry, and then I can build another district right here and get all this walled for my next war, right? Because otherwise, Londonia here is going to be really quite vulnerable to attack. Let's see. The Immortals upgraded. I can only get one of them. All right. And Kerma. What am I really doing in Kerma? I don't think I've decided. Would probably be good to get another attached territory. This one makes sense. I will lose a fair bit of stability by doing that because there are already some quarters there. Let's get the science per population. And actually, I think I kind of neglected to build some of those in a lot of my cities. I would also like to get theaters online. Harappa. Yeah, I'm missing a lot of the science infrastructure. Be great to get an artisan workshop too. There's a lot of stuff I need. I'm definitely a little low on industry this game, which is why I'm falling behind on a lot of my infrastructures. That being said, I know there have also been some balance changes made to the game, right? So it is a little bit more difficult to manage all that stuff than it used to be, which is good because it was honestly too easy to manage. I'll take that little stability hit to move along that axis because I do like that extra influence on your emblematic quarters. And I can manage the stability penalty for now. Now, if you were wondering if the strongholds count as garrisons, it looked like the answer is no, because I still can't build a city watch, which is unfortunate. I really wish they would count as garrisons, but alas. Alright. No, I do not want that. I can afford the stability penalty hit here. I mean, it's a really big hit. I honestly think it can be a little bit too much at times. Like minus 50 per is a lot of stability, particularly early in the game. But at the same time, I do feel like influence as a whole is not in the best place in this version of the game. And it would be great if it were a little bit better. I feel like influence is either super good or super bad. And not a lot of in between. Could start working on Notre Dame. I think Kerma is the city I'd want to build it in, right? To get that extra pressure. That's a big stability hit. Okay. Well, let's start on Notre Dame. I want it out here. I'm going to build it on a river, because wonders will work all yields. And once I get that wonder, it'll bring my city kind of back into stability alignment, I guess you could call it. Okay, that should be like that. And then science, and then money. Don't need farmers. Happy to buy out that artisan workshop so I can get a couple more people on industry. So that's 4 turns on Notre Dame, which is pretty good. Get another 26 food there. Don't think I really need it. I have enough in queue as it is. It's actually fine right there. I'll add that. I don't need to finish that. It's not a priority. Let's see. Yeah, I'm happy with that, actually. I'll take that. I don't have any garrisons, but it's possible I'll build some in the future. Oops. And speaking of, I might need one right now. Go ahead and put it right here. So it'll, if I need to use this area on defense, it'll provide some combat strength bonuses. It'll give a little bit of an adjacency bonus to the amphitheater and give me some stability. Scientific facts, I can't enact either of those right now. Osmosis events. Really wish I would stop getting these. Okay, so I'm gonna have to take another stability hit here. That's getting annoying. I'm going to refuse, which is going to hurt my stability a lot. But what are you going to do? Sometimes there are certain civics you need or do not need. So I don't know this event chain. I think this is a new one compared to when I last played. If I know anything about the developers from what I've seen so far, it's that the progress axis pretty much always gives good outcomes. Developers seem very biased in that direction. So I'm going to spend that money, and hopefully that's an investment rather than me sinking money into a random event that doesn't matter, but we will find out. Do I have any grievances? I do. Okay, I'll withdraw my demands. I don't want to declare war right away, because I have like no war support. 1% science on holy site. Yeah, I'm actually okay with that. I'm going to lose some more stability because of that. But I think I should be able to manage it okay. Get a couple garrisons there. Need to check stability on all my other cities. So this will be mostly solved with Notre Dame here. Sus will get some stability from those strongholds. Harappa's still doing okay. I'm worried about these guys wandering around. I don't know why they're here, and I would really like them to go away. New grievance available, which we will demand, and then withdraw. So the fun thing about the demands from this tenant, which one is it? Right here. This grievances against empires with a different state religion is that you keep getting the grievance over and over again. So even if you have to withdraw the demand, you'll get it again later. So I'm going to go ahead and claim Great Zimbabwe here, because that does look like a somewhat fun wonder. And, you know, I haven't really focused on money, but it would be nice to try it out since I haven't played with it yet. And I do think denying wonders to the AI can be useful as well. Okay. Learning on current. Okay. Yeah, a little bit of science. So not like an amazing trade-off considering it was a 500 gold investment, but it's okay. I don't know if there are other events you can get from that, or if like the outcome is guaranteed or what. So we'll go for Seafaring Mastery. Someone went up already as the Mughals. How are they on fame? Still a little ways behind me. Okay. I'd really like to get the Scientist Stars, obviously. That's one I typically get every single era. I think we'll probably get a Merchant Star, can maybe get a Builder Star, not too far from an Aesthete Star. We've got a little ways to go before we go up, I think. And it hasn't been that many turns since I went up to the Medieval, to be quite honest. Alright. Meditate often. Pretty much always the choice. Sustain the Faithful makes no sense. Like, this really needs to get changed. If you are getting a tier 4 tenet, you have a dominant religion, so you're not going to have a lot of foreign religions in your territories, so please, please change this. It makes no sense as a tier 4. Meditate often is just too good relative to the other picks. Now, obviously, if other cultures adopt your religion, they also get the combat strength bonus. But then it's just an equalizer, and it doesn't matter. But it is very useful. All right. Let's see. Do I want to attack them? Let's make that demand again. Okay, I want to make sure all my units are upgraded. Let's attack them. Ugh, can't. Okay, there was a river there. Should have planted that a little bit better. Okay, Byblos. Now, I could put Great Zimbabwe in Byblos, which thematically makes sense, right? Because I am going to use this for the gold. I could drop it right on the river here, so I think I'm going to do that. That'll help with the falling stability a little bit. Now, in other cities, I do need them to finish their queues before I start working on things. Okay, let's finish that stronghold. Let's finish the satrap's palace that's been in queue forever. I don't need these other two things that are right here. They do need stability. I don't have a fountain yet. Let's get that. And let's start getting some of the science infrastructure. We're just going to add that all to the queue. So I don't really have enough jobs for a lot of my people. Make the demand, withdraw demand. Am I gaming the system? Yes, but the developer should have designed the system better if they didn't want me to game it. All right. So put you up on the high ground there. So remember, longbows have a very long range. Okay, definitely want the pikemen in this position here. All right. We can get a rear attack. There we go. Knock one guy out right out the gate. Should be able to kill that guy too. So those were the most dangerous units on the battlefield by a country mile. And I'm going to let the rest of these guys just slam into me. Again, I have fire superiority, so I don't really need to push with my melee units. Just in general, unless you're... So my general philosophy with combat is, unless you are under a time limit of some kind, the general rule applies that if you have fire superiority over your opponent, just let your melee units be blockers. You don't need to take attacks with them, except on a few rare occasions where maybe you want to like knock out a specific unit or perhaps get into a specific position like high ground or whatever it is, right? If you lack fire superiority and your enemy has it, then you need to push in order to eliminate the enemy ranged units. However, if you are on a timer, for instance, on the next round, the enemy might be able to bring in reinforcements, then that goes out the door a little bit, right? Or say, for instance, you're going to win a war in one turn and you need to push into a city on that turn in order to wrap it up before the war completes. So there are a few exceptions. But in general, fire superiority lets you play more passively. Okay, so you could get heavy infantry. It'd be nice to get that unit slot. I don't really need hamlets. I will need furnace steel. I obviously will need military architecture at some point. I'm going to go for the heavy infantry, then military architecture. I don't really care about knights at the moment. Though obviously centralized power is something I need to. But let's see. Realistically, when do I go up? Because patronage is the most important tech. So I need to have patronage set up. Probably go through furnace steel. So let's do something like that. Okay, should be able to take this fight too. Okay. Okay, so crossbows, their most dangerous unit. Knock out these horsemen. And I think everyone else can just stay where they are. Now I do have a combat strength disadvantage on the river here, but it's okay. I just need them to absorb some hits. I'm going to eliminate these units first because I want to get my pikes off the river so they no longer have that CS disadvantage. And then I can take those crossbows. And I have the flag now, so I can just sit here and wait. Should be able to get a rear attack here. There we go. Alright. And up here, slaves. Not something I really use much, you know, because I'm a civilized person. But seriously, slaves as a civic, you're not really typically going to have enough garrisons or commons quarters for that to make a huge difference, unless you're playing Italians, I suppose. But outside of those circumstances, it's just not as useful as it could be. Let's buy out those animal barns too, why not? Okay, so really need to, so let's get that stronghold, and that gives us a little more extra stability. Still don't need that harbor. It is a good harbor, but it's not worth the stability hit for food right now when I have all my specialist slots filled, right? Not really working a ton of river in here. I'm going to add the dam in, though. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Okay, so we do need more industry in there. Sure, that works just fine. Surprised there's an empty territory to claim, honestly. Let's see. Okay. I'm going to hold on to this other demand. The one I demanded that they convert is not important, but the other one gives me a claim on a territory. So I do want that one available to me. 23 food's all right, and I do need some food in here, actually. And that'll give me a little bit of stability as well. And then I do have a decent amount of scientists in here. And I think after that, I'm going to build some more science quarters in here. I think Kerma is going to be another science city. I haven't really decided what Mohenjo-Daro is going to specialize in yet. It is a good amount of gold, though. I don't have an artisan workshop. Okay, well, I'm going to put off deciding for a little bit. Hey everyone, Future Uber here. Just letting you know I'm putting a cut in the episode here. I had actually recorded the entire medieval in one sitting like I normally do, and it was going to stretch out to be almost a 2-hour long video, which is really just not that sustainable or not that interesting. So hopefully cutting it up into about an hour here. So thanks for tuning in, really appreciate it. I'll see you in the next one.